Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We wanted to take our time today and give you guys an update on what we've been doing out here in the nursery this summer, especially the last few weeks now that it's really into the heat of the summer. Today is July the 27th. The day we're actually making this video is July the 27th. And learning how to deal with the heat, the season change in the summer, and all of that is brand new to us in the nursery, first year full-time at this. So we wanted to share with you guys some of the things that have been going on, some of the things that we've been doing, and really kind of how things are progressing, getting into mid to now late summer.
Have you noticed how every time we do a video, that Penny Pup, the nursery dog,
Every time.
always ends up in the video?
Yep, you hit record and here she comes.
Good morning, YouTube family. It's good to be with y'all today. I hope that we can give y'all some helpful treasures of information.
Yep, so here's an update for July, and I hope you guys find it helpful. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that we did actually open last Saturday and we had a plant sale. So the way that I advertised that, it was a beat the heat, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. plant sale, 2 hours. We did not have a ton of plants to sell, but we had some really nice plants to sell. And I've told you guys this before, but the time to have a plant sale is when you have plants to sell. It's not when you have 2,000 of the most beautiful plants anybody's ever seen. It's when you have 10 of something that's really nice, you need to sell them. Well, we had a really pleasant surprise this year with our oak leaf hydrangeas, and I did a video about 2 months ago. I don't remember exactly, but it was about 8 weeks ago or something. We made a video about a hydrangea that was really valuable to us, the oak leaf hydrangea, and in that video I actually said that we're potting these up now and they would be ready to sell next year. Well, something that had never happened before with us is these things grew extremely fast. They outgrew their pots. I mean,
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. So we decided to cobble together everything else that we might have scattered around that was ready and just sell them. And we wound up selling a lot of them, like 40-something of them, in just a couple of hours, in addition to about 40 to 60 other silver dollar hydrangeas and crepe myrtles. And it wound up being a day when we made a little over $1,100 in 2 hours. So,
and I was pleasantly surprised to see 2 of our viewers, local viewers, who came by and said hello and bought a couple of plants. We really appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Absolutely.
Good to see ya.
And when we're open and having a sale, that's the time for you guys to come by and say hello. We love meeting you guys. So worth mentioning is the reason that these hydrangeas grew so fast and so much better than they normally do. They always grow okay, kind of at a predictable rate, but just because it's the first time we've done it this way, guys, I can't tell you how valuable overhead watering is. And I mean watering with sprinklers as opposed to watering by hand. Everything that we have, all the plants that we have, are growing much, much better than they ever have. And I'm certain it's due to watering with sprinklers instead of by hand. The soak that they get is just better. It's slower than just a flood and moving on. And I am completely convinced that that's why these hydrangeas and our other plants have grown so much this year. In fact, so much so that it makes me think different in the future about how long or how many seasons it might take this plant or that plant to get to selling size. And it's been a really good discovery for us. In fact, so much so that it caused us to have a plant sale sooner than we thought we would, which is awesome. So that's worth mentioning. This overhead watering is the real deal.
No complaints about plant sales, that's for sure.
Right, no complaints about our plants are growing too fast.
No.
So really a good thing. Another thing that we've been doing and dealing with out here, and this is not glamorous, it's not fun to talk about, and I don't know if it's boring or interesting to you guys, but it's just reality of summer in the nursery, but dealing with 2 problems, and that is weeds and ants. And if you guys have been watching my channel for any time at all, y'all know how much I hate weeds. Well, just multiply that a little bit this year, and Casey has really been a great help weeding. So what can you say about weeds and fire ants?
Lots of them.
Yes.
So we had about 3 weeks where we got very little rain and we had to do a lot of irrigation.
About 40 days when we didn't get any rain.
And we were frustrated because we didn't have much rain. And then We got a week's worth of wonderful afternoon thunderstorms and rain, and we were so excited. But that brings weeds and ants.
Yeah.
And so now we are now recovering from our recent, what would you call that, wealth of rain.
Yeah, and here's the thing about the rain. It's like, you don't ever get 1 inch of rain every Monday where it's spaced out nice and, you just have this real even distribution of rain. It doesn't rain at all, and then it rains a lot. And we've had, I don't know how many inches of rain in the last week to 2 weeks, but the weeds are just crazy. And I've showed you guys this bed out here. Really, the only thing that we have growing in the ground where weeds are a problem is this bed of green giant arborvitaes that we have that we are growing for the purpose of selling to our YouTube viewers in the winter. But man, it is a nightmare dealing with it. So much so that it makes me wonder if we even want to do this again next year, at least do it this way, because the weeds just absolutely take over. So between the weeds, and you get down there and pull the weeds, and while you're pulling the weeds, you're
stung by ants.
You're getting stung by ants. I mean, it's just a real joy, as you can tell. So a lot of time has been put into weeding. It needs to be done again right now. And I mean, I'm looking at them right here, and there's weeds everywhere. The green giants in the bed are growing fantastic. They look great, but so do the weeds. So when you fertilize your plants in the ground, you're also fertilizing the weeds in the ground, and that has been a problem. Another project that we've done recently, just last week actually, is we've expanded our irrigation area. Out here again, we added again.
We've expanded again.
So now we've got 16 sprinkler heads running, and we've tried them and they all will run. I mean, I've been amazed at how our irrigation is working out, but we've added probably around 600 square feet, an additional 600 square feet of space that we're going to be able to add. That makes room for, a maximum of something like 2,000 more plants, just to continue to expand our capacity and our abilities to grow more and more and more, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So we continue to expand I'm looking over there because our irrigation area is that way, but continuing to expand our irrigation area. That's not a hard project, but it was a necessary project because it included adding more ground cover, and it including adding the actual piping for irrigation and all of that. So that's been another thing that we've recently done.
If anybody's ever wondering, what do y'all do in a day? Wow, July has been a really busy month, and we have had lots to do, and expanding irrigation, all of that just takes time. But it's been good. We've had a lot of great progress, and it's good to see some of the projects completed. But there's always a project in the nursery.
There is. And another thing is, it's July, and the heat is real. And I don't stay out here. I generally start fairly early in the morning working, usually around 7, sometimes before, sometimes after. And then I quit by about lunchtime, and then I come back out here after supper. We eat supper early like old people, so I'm usually back out here by 5 or 5:30 and stay till 7, 7:30. Just, it depends on what we're doing or exactly what the projects are for the day. But, that middle of the day heat, it's just relentless. And, we laugh about, between the two of us, if we're both out here, she and I can go through a load of laundry by ourselves in a day. I mean, It's unbelievable. So anyway, the summer heat is something that we're learning how to work in, how to deal with, keep everything watered in it. But this first summer, so far, so good. Another project that we've got in the works, and when I say in the works, I mean, as of right now, we have 1,000 new perennial plugs that arrived yesterday, and we got to get to potting those and get those potted up, get them put it out in irrigation, because we want those to be nice and very well rooted going into the winter. These are some varieties I've never tried to overwinter before. I don't know for sure that all of them will survive overwinter, but it's really another experiment. I got them for around 90 cents to $1 each, so we don't have a lot of money in them, but next spring we'll be able to sell them for, $5.97 to $7.97 each. So, that'll be a really good thing for us next spring, assuming that a lot of them or most of them will overwinter. Okay, so we bought them in 72 count
trays.
72 count plug trays. Yes, I can't spit it out.
Yeah.
So little bitty small plugs, but we'll pot them up and get them growing out as quickly as we can. But that's something else that we've got that we're working on right now.
And everything's always a learning process.
Yeah.
And every time we try something new, sometimes we're very successful with it, and
Yep.
sometimes it's just a failure.
Yeah, I mean,
we're trying.
Just the other day, well, about a week ago, when we decided we were going to try to sell some plants on Saturday, you know, I said, I can't believe how well this worked.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of things that we can't believe how well they worked, just as we have things that are the opposite.
That just don't work at all.
And say, I can't believe we wasted that much time, that we blew that much money, that it's just learning. And, you know, we make notes of all of this, trying to repeat the good stuff next year and don't repeat the failures next year, but it's all a learning process.
Yes.
And another big thing we've been doing, in fact, it's really probably the biggest thing that's in the works right now, and it's just kind of a continual thing through these 2 or 3 months of the summer, is propagation. And you know, a couple of videos ago, I showed y'all how I began working on the green giants. I wound up getting about 2,500 cuttings off of those 14 green giants to put under the mist, and I'm really hoping to have a very high success rate with those, like 90% plus of those rooting, but only time will tell. The mist is running and that's doing great. But we've also, right now we got, I don't know how many trays of gardenias in propagation. We've got rows of Sharon in propagation. We've got, like, I think 600 limelight hydrangeas in propagation. We've got a tray or two of emerald greens in propagation. Maybe 1 or 2 other things. Rose of Sharon, did I even mention that? I don't know if I even just said that or not, but we've got 2 different varieties of Rose of Sharon in propagation. We've got 2 trays of spireas in there. So we're propagating a lot of stuff. There's probably around 4,000 to 4,500 plants that are being propagated right now, and we need to get more. We're just taking cuttings of whatever we have out here to take cuttings of. So again, just looking forward to next year and the next year, and doing all these under mist is, you know, man, it's the way to go as far as getting huge numbers of plants propagated. So really starting in mid-May, something like that for my area, all the way through June, all the way through July, all the way through August. These are the months to propagate in mist. So trying to make hay while the sun's shining and getting as much going there as we can.
It's amazing to me how much you have to prepare constantly for the next year. It's like,
that's true.
You can't just sit back and go, man, that was a great spring. We did fantastic. We're so excited. And now it's like you're already in motion to next spring. Like everything's already being propagated and potted and planted, and all for plans for the next season, or even the next season for things that grow out even more.
And that's what I was going to say, in addition to what you said. It's not just next season. It is next season, but it's not just next season. So, you know, we're propagating things now, and it's 2023. We're propagating things now that we'll sell in 2025. Well, or even 2026. I mean, it just, you're always working ahead. But when you're always working ahead, eventually that catches up with you, and you start seeing the fruits of what you did a year ago and 2 years ago. So it's like a cycle. It's like a circle that just kind of perpetuates itself if you just keep doing the same chores at the same time of year every year, and it keeps everything in motion. So that's kind of how the nursery cycle works.
Which is really kind of interesting because of our story. When we started so small, just in our backyard, it's interesting to see that some of those plants that we propagated in Paris are now still being propagated and taken here now.
We have grandchildren plants and great-grandchildren plants here that we originally started in 2016 and 17 in our little bitty backyard nursery.
We have like
that we're taking cuttings.
Genealogy in our own yard.
Right. Well, but that's how plants work, and when you do it that way, you're not constantly having to buy in plant stock. Instead, you're just making new stock every year from what you already have. So that's kind of one of our goals, is to get more and more plants planted out here in the ground and growing that will be here permanently, that we'll just take cuttings off of, you know, in perpetuity. So you just always have them. So that's one of the really cool things about the nursery business is, yeah, we're buying plants in to sell and to grow and to sell, but making our own, and that's really where the money is in the nursery world.
It has been a very, very hot summer. but we have enjoyed so much being out here working with the plants. Our daughter, Chloe, works with us diligently every single day and loves every minute of it. She's propagating her own plants, and it's just kind of neat to see her be involved as well as us being involved and working as a family. This is the first time we've done this full time, and it's been a joy.
And part of that is the reason we wanted to do this in the first place, was to have our family involved in work and the togetherness of it all every day. And we think that's one of the most valuable things that we can give to our kids is our time every day. So that's been an awesome thing that's part of this as well. And really the rest of this video, it's just been kind of a what's going on out here and a July update. So guys, hope this has been helpful to y'all. We appreciate you watching. I love y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye guys.